All right, hey folks, it's Faz here from Faz Lifts. Thank you for tuning in. It constantly surprises me that people come back and tune in, but as long as you do, I will continue to make my content. So today's topic is going to be another one in the How to Know You're Working Hard Enough series, which I think is quite useful and has been a theme of mine over the last few weeks. But firstly, thanks for making it onto my channel. If you have any questions or comments, pop them down below. And if you'd like to work with me on your own strength and physique goals and join Team Faz, then there's a link in the description. Also, go ahead and check out my podcast, my website, my emailing list, my Patreon, some cool stuff on there you might be interested in, all the stuff that I do. And after that shameless self-promotion, let's get on with the video. So let's go on with the topic of today. Let me outline the problem first of all. So here we go. I first started talking about RAR a few weeks ago, and it caused a massive lot of confusion in certain pockets of people. Okay, not with everyone. I think people got it, but it started to cause some confusion with certain pockets, certain groups of people, which told me something. It told me that from what I could see, looking at these from an overview of all the DMs that I was getting and the messages and the comments, and relatively speaking, there was quite a lot on this topic, more than any others. The impression I got is that people only ever seem to understand train to failure or very easy training. They didn't really seem to get the nuance of how to know what your RIR was. And as a side effect, they didn't really seem to understand what the metric of working hard was. Now that's a problem, because if somebody truly doesn't understand what RIR is, odds are they're probably actually not going to understand what working hard is either. Because when you work very hard, let's say you work to failure, you probably know where to gauge 1 or 2 reps away from that. And we see this from the research as well. Generally, the people who aren't very good at gauging failure, they're terrible at gauging RIR too. It's the guys who can train to failure. They know how to keep 1 or 2 reps in the tank because, well, it's easy. Once you know the end point, you can push back. It's like, how do I get from here to London? Well, that's the route, and I can stop off half an hour before for a petrol break. Easy, right? If I don't know the route, then there's no chance I'm stopping off. So people only ever understand sort of the philosophy of going to failure or taking it easy. This is in the same way that people only ever understand dieting or binging. And you see people like this all the time. And I sometimes get people who come to me, they've just been used to an entire life of just dieting. And then when they get to their destination, they just binge, and you see them like 50 pounds later, after they just gorge themselves for 3 months, and they repeat the cycle over and over and over. All this leads me to thinking this is the area that I actually need to discuss more. You guys know my background. I'm an educator. Okay, so when I start talking about something like RIR, something about how to know you're training hard enough, and there's that much confusion in the comments, I'm thinking these guys have not been taught this stuff before. Now, I've only been on YouTube for about a year, and I'm starting to see this trend because I think I know why it is. Because the message that has been given to you guys and girls has always been work harder, work harder, work harder, work harder than last time. But what does that actually mean? And how do you know you're working harder than last time? It's not just a feeling. There has to be objective measures. Because you could go into the gym a little bit tired, a little bit stressed, the dog died, girlfriend broke up with you, and you think the workout's hard. But does it mean the workout's hard? No. You need objective measures. And I don't think anyone's really taught you guys that. So I feel like it's my job to do this. So this is why we're discussing this again today, and another way of knowing whether you've worked hard enough. So another way to know you work hard enough. Now, this part of the video won't take too long because it's quite simple to explain, which is good for you guys because it'll be quite simple to implement and test for yourself. Quite simply, your reps should begin to slow down. Your reps should begin to slow down. And I have a bit of a system here for you that I want you to listen to. Typically speaking, most people's repetitions should be in the should be in the 1 to 2 seconds on the way up, and again 1 to 2 seconds on the way down. Now, I do like a little bit slower on the way down, but it's not the end of the world, as long as you're in control. Okay. Now, in the literature and in my own experience, this roughly doubles as you go to about 2 RAR. Now, 2 RAR means you have the 1 RAR left, 0 RAR left, and then the failure rep. So it means you're about 2 reps in the tank, okay? 2 RAR. So in my experience, once you approach that 2 RAR rep, your reps will begin to slow down. So you'll be at about 2 to 4 seconds. Now, that's a good marker to know that as your reps begin to slow down a little bit, so just 1 or 2 seconds more on the way up, 1 or 2 seconds more on the way down, that point is about 2 RAR. That's not failure, okay? So if you don't even get to that point and you just stop, then come on, grow a pair, right? If you get to the point where your reps slow down a little bit and you just drop the bar, that's not failure. That's 2 RAR. That's very well established at this point. Now, as you reach true failure, and the rep before true failure, so 0 RAR, for most people, this doubles again to about 4 to 8 seconds. If you look at actually, in fact, go right now and go to my Instagram at FazLifts, follow, and look at the video I did, a recent video I did on leg extensions. And you can see my final rep there actually took 7 seconds. So it's right in that zone. And that was before I failed. So this is a good metric to know more about where you are in terms of working hard, because you need an objective measure. And I seriously think that's the big problem. I don't think people have really explained this on YouTube that well, because people just say work harder, work harder, work harder. And that's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's a great message. Like, definitely work harder. But you need to know objectively whether you're working hard enough. And so if you're watching me on YouTube and you want an idea and you're nodding along going, yes, work hard, great. Then try and apply this. Video your lift. Time it. See what happens. Like, did you wuss out? Be honest with yourself. If you did, then at least you know. So hopefully that's useful. Now, next thing. A quick point about this. Why am I even interested in this reps in reserve crap again? Okay, because of this reason, all right? From my experience working with people, I know that for some people, they need more volume further away from failure to grow. Okay, like working harder is a great message for beginners and early intermediates. It's a great message. Okay, and I'm never going to say it's not a good message. And I don't need any of these RAR stuff to be applied for beginners, okay? But to progress past the intermediate stage to the advanced stage, usually needs more volume. However, your tolerance for more volume to failure goes down drastically. Therefore, RAR comes into play. You can do more volume if you just keep 1 or 2 reps in the tank. That is what I needed to get to advanced stage. I have a client right now, Adam. Adam, if you're listening, love you, man. And he is also seeing the same thing. He is at that stage. We are now currently at his all-time best poundages, and he's doing more useful volume than he ever has. He's doing about 16 sets per body part per week, and he's just progressing nicely because he's not training every set to failure. So he's doing slightly less failure training, slightly more volume, and he's gaining. Again, beginners, early intermediates, go and train as hard as you can. The criticism is always, well, I'm a beginner, I'm an early intermediate, therefore I don't know what train to failure is, so I'm just going to work as hard as possible. Well, that's a great message. But on the last slide, I just showed you how you know. And the same with the last video, the rep drop-off. I've shown you how you know if you're working hard enough or not. So this applies to beginners, intermediates, and everybody else. Wherever you are on the spectrum, this rep speed discussion applies to everyone. Everyone. You can all use it to either see if you're working hard enough, or if you're into late stage intermediate and you want to get to advanced, this may be more an implication of, okay, maybe I want to do more volume by actually reducing my my failure training, but still working in that right range. So you know. Okay, now if your reply to me is this, Faz, actually, you know what, I am working hard enough, and how dare you sit there in England of all places and sipping your tea. I actually do have a cup of tea ready right now. How dare you sit there over in England with the Queen, sipping tea, telling me I don't work hard enough. I will let you know I squat 185 pounds for 12, 12, 12. And my reps don't slow down. But I assure you, I'm a beast. I would be dubious. So all I'm saying is, I appreciate you're a machine. All I'm saying is, perhaps take this on board, okay? Maybe video your training, look it back over, look at the rep speed, look at the fact there's no performance drop-off, and just consider the fact that you could probably push it a little bit harder. Next criticism is this. Why are we actually even interested in this? And I think this is a very good question, because this criticism is, what if we just keep adding weights to the bar? Well, in the end, it'll all come out in the wash, right? In theory, that's true. Let's say you're at 185 pounds for squats now. You keep adding 5 pounds to the bar every week. Yeah, at a certain point, it's going to get very hard. Sure, it is. In theory, yes. But the problem is most people don't get to that very hard because they change their routines. When it gets to the point where they need to work hard, they can't do it because they don't know what training hard is. Training hard is a skill. You need to practice it. It's not just something that happens when the time's right. It's a skill. It's like saying, you know, I've got a fight lined up with, I don't know, Mike Tyson. I'm not going to practice. When it comes to it, I'll be ready because I've shadow boxed and play fighted with my nephew who's 6 years old. No, it's not how it works. You need to practice working harder. You can't just say, well, I'll keep adding weight to the bar. It'll happen when it happens. You need to practice it. Most people don't get to that stage because they change routines long before they get to that point. This is like sitting a test you've never revised for. Working hard is a skill. I can tell you numerous times over the time when I was kind of building up my initial poundages where I leveled up in intensity. This is another thing. It's not just like not working hard, working hard. There are levels of working hard. The cliche, the rap cliche, there are levels to this. There are levels to this. And you work harder and harder and harder and harder and harder until you reach that sort of advanced pro level stage of working where you are just like, whoa, this is insane. Like I showed a couple of clients the leg extension video, and I said, you know, this is what train to failure is. And they're like, oh, I go to failure, but I don't go to FAS failure. Like, there is no FAS failure. That's failure. So again, it's a skill you have to practice. So this is why I'm making these videos, so that you guys can implement this into your own training. Video your lifts. Okay, just check it out. See what's happening. See if you are seeing these rep slowdowns, the rep drop-offs. These are all ways to know if you're working hard enough. It's all very well and us, you know, all having a sort of like a big self-appreciation party and saying, work hard, and you guys shout back at me, yeah, work hard, and I say work hard. But I would not be doing my duty if I didn't show you guys the particulars of how to work hard. Okay, so this, you have it now. So the conclusion is, some, not many, maybe even most of your sets should see a noticeable slowdown, and this should occur almost on every working set. If your reps neither slow down nor any drop off in performance, you're likely winging it. So my advice from my ivory tower here in the UK is nut up, work harder. Now you know objectively whether you're working hard enough or not. Use that information, apply it, stop changing your routines, get the gains while you can. And that's what I'll end today with. So if you are a regular and you've not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe. If you are subscribed, hit the bell icon. And for today, I am going to say that the subscriptions are open only for those who practice Train to Failure and understand what it is. All right, I'll call it there. See you in the next one.